Hello class, I'm putting this video together because I missed class and I want you to be able to have access to this information because I think it will help you with the upcoming lessons, and you can watch this over and over and over again. So the first thing is we're going to discuss relationships in reading. And what do they mean by relationships in reading? It's kind of like the genres, like a compare and contrast. What relationship words would we tend to see? Similar, different, conversely, and there are others. So relationships in this context means how is it being held together. So if we take a look here, excuse me about my dogs. So here we're going to talk about the relationships and how there are two common methods that they use. And they use transitions or patterns of organization, which I was talking about earlier with compare and contrast. And then the transitions would be like similarly, conversely. Here I think this is going to take us through addition and listing. Let's take a look. So I'm going to make this a little larger for you. Oh, I guess it won't. Alright. So if we look at A and B, if you read both of these, you can pause, read them. What they're going to say is like B is easier to read and understand. One way to lose friends is to talk but not listen. Another way to end friendships is to borrow money and not pay it back. Here they're looking at the word another. The author is giving you a clue word another. It's easier to read than this because you have a transition which connects both sentences together better, which makes it smoother to read. And here again, they're talking about another, and it makes it clear, smoother. I kind of jumped ahead of myself there, which I usually do. And going back to this sentence, another is the transition word, and it acts like a bridge to combine or to connect both thoughts, both sentences together. Makes it smoother. This helps with cohesion. Cohesion is the glue that holds your paper together. Transition is part of those. Using transitions is part of that glue for cohesion. The first types of transition words we're going to look at are addition and time. They're similar but a little different, but we'll go through those. If you take a look here, words that show addition. If you look at both of these, take your time to read them, and then I'll tell you which one is better or easier to understand. This was similar to the first example where they're saying many people rent DVDs, blah, blah, blah. Also, DVDs. In addition, also, we know that they're giving us more information about the DVDs. In A, there was no transition word. So if you're going to add transitions, again, it helps your readers. And then here, they highlighted also because it's the correct answer. And then down here, they're saying the word also makes it clear that another reason is being given. It ties it together. Cohesion. It glues it together. So here are some addition words that you're all familiar with. And they call them addition words because you're adding more information. So take a look here. Also, in addition, further, furthermore, for one thing. So first, second, third. So first, you're adding information. Second, you're adding more information. And third, you're adding even more. So I think most of you are familiar with these words, these transition words. Now we just went through addition words. Now we're going to jump to words that show time. If we look at A and B, you'll have to decide which one is easier to read. Pause. Okay, so if you're back, obviously B, you're saying previously the two neighboring families got along well. Now they are not on speaking terms. Previously, which means in the past, and now means currently. These are definitely time transitions. And again, this helps with cohesion. And here are some common time words. You'll know a lot of them. Next, then, while, during, often, frequently. How often do you do something? When? If you notice that first, second, and third, you'll see these for time words and for addition words, giving more information. The way that you will know whether they're time or addition is by the context. So here, while the nurse prepared the needle, I rolled up my sleeve. Then, I looked away. During my last semester in college, I spent more time job hunting than I did studying. So here are some time words being used as transitions. Again, it helps with the flow of your writing. So in addition to these time words, you can also use dates. In 1980, throughout the 20th century, by 4 o'clock. These are other transitions for time. Alright, let's go over some helpful hints for tips. So the first one is some words will mean the same or similar. Also, moreover, furthermore. They all mean in addition. You could even use in addition. But instead of using also in the paper, you have other words to choose from that mean the same thing because you want to have a variety. The next tip is that some of these words can be time and they can also mean addition. If we look at this one, for many athletes, life after a sports career is a letdown. First, they are often not prepared for non-athletic careers. First, to me, this is the listing. And then look at time. A trip to a giant supermarket can be quite frustrating. First, what do you do first? You have trouble finding a parking space. So this first is for adding information. This first is adding time. So again, there are certain words that can be used in different contexts. So now we use these transitions in patterns of organization. So addition words are used for listing. And then here, time order is for time words are used for time order. So let's take a look at these more in depth. So if we take here, we have a list of items. Item 1, Item 2, Item 3. So a list of items refers to a series of reasons or examples. In class, we've been writing exemplification or illustration essays. For example, the first example, the second example. You're listing your reasons. Let's take a look here. So pause here and read these and put these in order. And it should become pretty logical for you if you use the transition words. Oop, I went too fast. Here you go. So the main idea goes first, and then one common strategy, another way, and number 3 is finally. If you use the transition words, you should be able to put these listing items in order very quickly. That's the whole point. So when you're writing, if you have a transition word, you will help your readers understand, or you'll help them map out where they're reading or what they're reading. This slide here is just the addition words again, just in case you forgot them earlier. They just want to refresh your memory. Let's take a look here. This is what we just read. One, another, and finally. These all show order of listing order. So we're going to leave the listing order and we're going to go to the time order. And you guys would use this mostly if you were writing a narrative. First I was born, then I went to college, then I died, stuff like that. But you can use time order in other places as well. Let's take a look here. So we have next, then, when, and last. Put these in order. Pause again, and then come to the answer. So you should have had when, then, next, and then last. Last would have been the easiest. Right? And then, we can't have a then. We can't start with then up here because we need something to happen previously. So this is the time order for these. And again, pauses if you need to. Here again are the time order words, the transition words that you use in time order. Now when you do the homework, you'll be able to practice using both listing and time order in the exercises. And remember, you can repeat those over and over and over on Townsend Press. The next point here is your main idea or your topic or your thesis statement will usually let the reader know what the pattern is. Take a look. So, I jumped ahead. Paying close attention to the main idea can give you a quick sense of the paragraph's pattern of organization. Let's go to the next slide. There are several steps to remembering your dreams. So if this is the thesis or the topic sentence, several steps, you know that this is going to be in time order. First you fall asleep. What happens next? Maybe you go into REM. I don't really know. I'm kind of flying with the dreams here, but this is the time sequence. And notice what they're saying is these words here in the thesis, or this could be the topic sentence, let your reader know what kind of pattern or rhetorical mode you were using to write. Here in this sentence it says various theories explain the aging process. What are those theories? They're going to list the theories. There's no time order in this one. Again, the thesis or the topic statement. These are the clue words. Your readers will know, they're going to list the theories. So practice a few here. Here is the topic sentence. While there are thousands of self-help groups, they all fall into 3 basic categories. So we're talking about categories. Will that really have anything to do with time, or are they going to list the basic categories? So I hope that you chose A. Let's take a look at the next one. Well, they're not giving us another example. But 2 final points. Sometimes you can mix your patterns. Sometimes you may write a compare and contrast into a narrative, but don't think that you're not always going to see listing in one essay, compare and contrast in another essay. Sometimes they are mixed patterns. If you read this paragraph about the the 6 techniques. So they're going to tell you about techniques. So automatically I would think listing. They're going to list the techniques. But they also put this in time. First you lie down, then you do this, then you do that. So it's time order, but you're also listing the techniques as they go through it. Let's take a look here. A list of 4 sets of muscles. So they're listing the muscles here. Oh, let me jump to the next one. So here they're doing time order, and then within the time order they're listing the eyes, the toes, so they're mixing them. But overall, I would say this pattern would be a time order because it's saying first lie down, then what do you do next? But within this time order, there is listing because they're listing the toes, the abdomen, the eyes. But the overall pattern, if you were taking a quiz, A, is this time order, or B, is this listing? I would go with the larger, the overall, and this would be time order. Now this slide is saying that not all authors will use transitions. Sometimes you don't need them. It'll be pretty, obvious what they're going to do. So if you don't always need a transition before every sentence. Use your own thoughts, whether you need it or not. Let's look at the takeaways here. Okay, transitions show relationships between ideas. Patterns show relationships between paragraphs or essays. Addition relationships, you're going to list. Remember the keywords for one thing, in addition, also, furthermore, finally. And then time relationships, this pattern is time, obviously, and you're going to start with beginning, middle, end, just to break it down easily. So I hope this helps you. If you need to, watch it again. Thanks.